I probably wouldn't be the first to tell you if you asked around, because that's
Uh-huh.
not a lot. We know historically there used to be a lot,
Right.
not so much today. So
Well, what got you into it?
yeah, so the way I got really interested is about 2011. I was off work. I had to have back surgery. I was born spinal bifida, so I had to have a tumor removed from my spine. And my job at the time was at a factory, so obviously I couldn't work for a long time after that surgery because I had to relearn how to walk. And it's about a 16, 18 month recovery for me. But while I was off and able to move around, I was looking for something to kind of fill my time. And
Hmm.
I was telling my mother-in-law I like to maybe volunteer somewhere. I grew up in after-school programs in Chicago, and
Okay.
I was just like,
You grew up in Chicago? Okay.
yeah, I grew up in Chicago. Yep. I moved to Galesburg when I was about 16, 17. So there was an ad in the paper for looking for volunteers at urban farming town. So I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I'll check that out. So I went over and met a guy who was managing the farm. His name was Matt Wallen. And it was just like a small farm. It has like a 4 acre plot in the middle of town. And just a big, building. There used to be a nun. The building has a lot of history. It used to be where nuns live. I'm not sure what that's called.
And this
Uh,
is in Galesburg?
yeah, this is in Galesburg.
Right.
So it's
Okay.
a long time ago. It used to be, but anyway, but now they had turned into something else, and they was trying to start a farm there. And I met Matt, and he introduced me to urban agriculture, and he had like a little aquaponics system in the back, and I thought that was the coolest thing because they was just using fish to grow food. I don't know if you ever
Right.
heard of aquaponics, but so I was like, oh, this is cool. So I was doing that for a little while. Then I got an opportunity to go with Matt and the local college, Knox College students to a urban farm in Milwaukee. And I got to see this urban farm. And this was like the real deal. It was big building, greenhouses. They had chickens, I think goats. They was raising a lot of produce, raising fish. And it was like in the middle of what I call the hood. Cause I know it was the hood because I grew up in the hood in Chicago. So it was like an urban, ghetto or whatever.
Right.
And so I was like, man, this is amazing. It's just like a farm here.
Yeah.
Like you never see that. And you see it all the time in Galesburg, whatever. But even but not in the city. But
Right.
but you see
Right.
farms. But this is a
Outside.
farm in the city. So I'm looking, I walk in, I'm like, who made this? I kept hearing this guy's name. His name is Will Allen. And they had like a wall. As soon as you walk in, it was like the who's who of Milwaukee. It was like some judge, then some 5-star general, and this Will Allen, this black guy in a tank top, with muscles. And like he's like
Uh-huh.
the who's who of Milwaukee because what he's done by putting this urban farm in the middle of this area is he transformed the area. Now people where you used to have food deserts, they have access to fresh produce. It created jobs and kind of like hope in the area. And so that kind of inspired me because then I saw he also was granted like a Presidential Genius Award or grant for
I've
for
heard of
his
Will
works.
Allen. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
I
growing
think he's
together, right?
famous. Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's a celebrity. Yeah, so I was impressed by that. I'm like, who's this black dude? You know what I'm saying? Like next to these, super elite or whatever, servicemen or whatever. And so I was like, this is cool because this brought me back to I told you I grew up in after school programs in Chicago. We had stuff like this where like where something so like programs where it was in the middle of the hood, but it's kind of like gave you hope to kind of get outside of it. And I
Right.
was like, this is cool. I would love to do something like this with an after school program involved in Galesburg or even Chicago. So I came back inspired, started doing some reading up on it, and then I was like, one day we're going to do this. And then, fortunately, 2017, me and my brothers decided to pull our resources together and start a small farm in Galesburg. So that's what kind of inspired us. We went and got some training on aquaponics. Because really, the aquaponics is what really impressed me because you
Right.
can raise fish and produce. So I'm like, this is cool. It's indoors. I don't have to be out in the hot sun like traditional farming. I was, I grew up in the city, so I wasn't a big fan of doing all that hard labor outside, which is good too. But the aquaponics, you can grow a lot easier. Kids will be willing to do this,
Right.
because this is cool and it's like new technology, even though it's old. But so
Do-
we go ahead.
I was going to say, did you guys find a building or where did
Yeah,
you decide to
so
do this?
So that's where it got kind of challenging. Like we went and got to train about some folks out of Hawaii who had a big aquaponics farm. It was commercial, was successful commercially on the commercial level. So we can learn how to do aquaponics because that was going to be our main goal: do indoor growing with aquaponics.
Hmm.
And pair that with after school program because my brother was part of a gym, a boxing gym, and we were teaming up with them. They're a non for profit as well, and the leader of the boxing gym, Carlos Duncan, was also a family member through my children as their grandfather, but
Okay.
on their mother's side. But
Hmm.
anyway, we want to pair that together. We was like, we can have the boxing gym without the school program, and we can teach the kids how to grow use aquaponics. So what we did, the first thing we tried to do was start one in his backyard. And we didn't know about zone. We were just going to build a greenhouse in the backyard. We went and got all this training. We had all the blueprints. We were just going to do it ourselves. And, so then we started finding out about like zoning laws, and building permits, and things like that. So we just made us a prototype in his backyard, trying to figure out how to grow the aquaponics and just try to grow food in general, because none of us had really much experience besides me for a little bit of time I spent with the other urban farm and the training
Right.
for the aquaponics. So we ended up buying a 4 acre plot of land in Galesburg in 2000 later on that year,
Yeah.
2017.
And you're part of that community now. I mean, as you said, people know
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Did I see that you're on like a community relations board or something? Or
Yeah, I was for a while. I was, yeah. I was like getting thrown around, but it was kind of hard. I'm not really a big fan of being in the public. Like I love that. Like, well, since I started business in Galesburg, I got to be more part of the community, and I love that. And it made me love and appreciate the town more. The good and even the good and the bad. So,
right.
yeah, I've been doing all that. I've spoken at Knox College a couple times. They paid me for some reason, to do that, and people
That's
like
all
to hear my
right.
story. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I like to share it because it can encourage other people.